Hey everybody, Robbie Straczynski here for Card Player Lifestyle. I'm here with Ian Simpson, fresh off his incredible win at the 888 Poker Live Madrid main event, where he took home 62,000 euros. Ian, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Good. Not only is this a huge personal achievement, but it also marks the first time that an 888 Poker ambassador has won one of the company's own live events. Ian battled through a tough field of 403 entries in the $888 buy-in event. He endured a grueling 12-hour final day, and he emerged from a 2-hour heads-up duel to claim the title. So we'll talk with Ian for a few minutes, diving into your experience and sort of
Sure.
hearing firsthand how it all unfolded. Um, let's start sort of with that beginning part. Obviously, it's now we're past it. We're in the winner's circle, all the glory. But my understanding is it didn't all start out,
God
roses.
no. Yeah,
Uh,
no, 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 no,
you
no, no.
entered more than once, if I recall.
Yeah, two bullets. One
Uh-huh.
on day 1A, and then a second one on day 1B.
Hmm.
Bagged a healthy stack on day 1B. Day 1B was really quiet until there was just all of a sudden a three-way collision between my kings, pocket tens, and pocket eights, and it held.
Hmm.
And then all of a sudden, I had one of the top stacks just from one hand,
Right.
and then just played a lot of small pots since then. Day two,
Oh, wait,
um,
I got to stop you before we get to day two.
okay, okay.
Had you not made it through day 1B, was the plan to fire 1C as well?
Oh, we fire.
Okay.
Oh, I fire.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
you did make it through. What did you end up doing during the 1C flight? Just took a step back and
Well,
chilled a little bit?
no, we were making loads of content with 888. So if I was
Uh-huh.
going to play 1C, it would have been a very late registration because we were busy all day making loads of content, which was
Nice.
great.
Okay.
We made some really good stuff. Yeah, it's hard work,
Cool.
but I enjoy working with the team behind the scenes. So
Lovely.
it was
Okay.
great.
So now
Yeah.
go on with day two. Go ahead.
Yeah. So day two, man, I'm trying. I don't think I can remember any of the actual hands. I just remember like like getting having a precarious stack approaching the bubble,
Hmm.
and then winning some pots that made it feel like, ooh, I can abuse the bubble, but then just losing a couple of pots that stopped that potential. And
Uh-huh.
then there was a chip. The chip leader was actually under the two to my left, so I lost that momentum and that ability to
Hmm.
hoover up chips like you sometimes get on bubbles. But then the bubble lasted not very long at all. So then that everyone loosened up, battled and battled as usual. Got cool at blind v blind though. My pocket nines against pocket tens, which left me with like eight big blinds, which was nothing. And I thought, okay, we survived the difficult bubble. We secured a min cash. Not a bad start of 2025.
Hmm.
Whatever.
Right.
I'll jump in the high roller later. Absolutely fine. And then we doubled, and then we
Right.
battled, and then we doubled, and we battled, and then it was up and down, and then it was day three of all of a sudden because day two lasted because in Spain they like to start the tournaments quite late.
They like to
Like,
start everything late in Spain. I think
well, yeah,
breakfast
yeah,
is at
yeah,
2 p.m. or something. Yes.
yeah. Like the day one a the day one flights were starting at 3, and day two didn't start till 5.
Yeah.
Day two didn't finish until 4 a.m. and then
Goodness.
day three started at 3 p.m. But I'm a night owl, so I'm perfectly fine with that.
Right. And if you're
So
making it till four, I mean that's good. That means you make it to the next day. So
I mean, you're
that's
making
always
it
a good,
till the
right.
time.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, and then yeah, getting to the final table, there was some absolutely crazy things going on. Some
right.
players were just so out of line, so far out of line.
Okay. I want to
But
ask you something
yeah,
before you hit the final table, though. Such a
sure,
long day of play, 12 hours,
yeah,
and you got, I think you were ninth of 23
yeah,
on
yeah,
day
yeah.
three. How do you, after such a long day too, right? And of course, you're a professional. This is your job. This is what you're supposed to do. But so many hours of play, so much going on. How do you maintain that focus and, make sure you're not just sort of laddering up, but, continuing to stay on your A game as the final table approaches?
You've got to like look after yourself in terms of you've got to make sure you're eating. Like some people don't have breakfast and then play. I do not
Hmm.
understand how those people do it. Like like even if I'm not feeling hungry, I know that my body needs fuel and my brain needs fuel. So I always have snacks. People laugh at me for always having snacks, but it to me it's just essential. like
Hmm.
bananas and cereal bars and stuff like that, just to keep the energy levels up. Keeping hydrated,
Sure.
and having a rail is also really important. There you
Hmm.
go, keeping hydrated. And having a rail is important to keep your spirits up too, because
Oh,
when
oh, we'll talk about that rail.
we'll talk
That's
about
a
the
very
rail,
special
because
rail, that's for
mine's
sure.
the best. Mine is the best.
That's for sure. Okay, you start the final table, you're in third place. Um,
Mm.
you've made many a final table, you've won events before. Being in third place, what's your mindset, of like, okay, is this take advantage of the short stacks? Or is it, oh, I've already played with these people before, so just keep playing my game? Is it, oh, okay, switch it up a little bit? Like what's your thought process going into the final
So I needed to like feel out how they were approaching the final table, like and reassess how good I thought different players were. Because you only see so many players when you're actually at the tables with them,
table?
because cards get exposed at like at showdown, but half the time cards get mucked, so you don't get that much information a lot of the time. So just grappling onto whatever bits of information you can to assess what people are up to, looking at their frequencies, how often they're three betting, and sort of trying to make assumptions about just how loose are they being really loose, or are they just getting a rush of hands, and just adapting and knowing when to apply the pressure and knowing when to step back. Because there was times when ICM is important, obviously, and there's players who are being very loose and aggressive, and I was like a mid stack, so it
Uh-huh.
was a good time to take my foot off the gas a little bit and let some collisions happen. And
Right.
then I found myself as chip leader, so I got the opportunity to put on the pressure.
Sure.
And that's something I've gotten much better at, because egos can easily get involved. Because if anyone watched the coverage, they would have seen I was getting three bet light. Like there was one guy in particular who was having a ball, just getting involved. But I was kind of okay just being patient. Like old me might have just rammed it in his face with whatever I'd opened with. I'm a little more selective now. I understand ICM a little better, and I understand patience a little better.
Sure.
So yeah.
So it's funny, like, so the way you constructed your answer, again, it's like such a great uh, professional poker player answer. And it's the kind of answer that I imagine you would give almost like regardless of whatever ended up happening at the final
Right.
table.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
ended up winning. So my question is, was it a matter of executing better on the strategy you just laid out, or was it run good or equal parts both?
All both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like I definitely ran good. I got a better card distribution heads up. And I never lost an all in when my tournament life was at stake, which is
That's
obviously
always
the case
helpful.
for any winner. And any confrontation can lead to your demise in a tournament. And
Hmm.
you have to get into confrontations. You can't shy away from them if you want to make money.
Sure.
Uh, so to actually win a tournament, you have to survive a lot of those confrontations. And what happened this time. And it's wonderful to be on this side of variance. So
Yep.
whilst I've worked on my game and I've studied ICM and I've read lots of books and this, that, and the other, you've got to accept that variance was on your side too, and this hand holding and this eventuality occurring meant that good things happened.
For sure. And like Seinfeld says about the 100-meter race,
Yeah,
fastest guy in the world, never heard of him. Hundredth of a second difference, kind of a thing. Okay. Now, not that it was that close necessarily, but when
sure.
you were heads up with what was his name? Alvaro Munciano. You were
Yeah,
nearly even in chips when you started out, and it was a
yeah,
2 hour slugfest, and
yeah.
it wasn't a
Was it two
guarantee that,
hours?
pardon?
Man,
Yeah,
was
that's
it 2 hours? Yeah.
according to the Poker News reporting and the Twitch stream.
Bit of bit of a blur from
So
my perspective. Yeah.
right, so when
Yeah.
you're in the moment.
Yeah.
So what was the dynamic like between you two? And again, considering all the run outs and all the hands you played, was there anything specific that enabled you to kind of pull out the victory?
Um, Again, I did have a better card distribution than in heads up.
Mm.
So like
Hmm.
this interview could have been very different, if like he had gotten pocket aces one time when I was bluffing, or if I had,
Uh-huh.
whatever. Like I don't think there was much in it at all. Um, I made a bluff catch that went wrong. I made a bluff catch that went right.
Hmm.
It was just a battle. Like he was a good reg on the aggressive side of things.
Okay.
And I've been studying how to counter that particular brand of reg as I've got them categorized in my head a
Hmm.
little bit, knowing again when to put on the pressure and when to come off the gas a little bit.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, the like if the card distribution was reversed, this conversation might be very different.
Right. I think
Yeah,
it's just always so, again, man wins poker tournament, person wins poker. You hear that kind of stuff all the time, but I always feel it's so interesting and insightful to get into the mind of a professional and how they process all of the things that go on. So thank you for sharing that. Um,
anytime.
on your social media updates throughout the tournament, you were sharing how your emotions kept on building and you just wanted to run deep and, maybe, oh, okay, I really have a shot at this title. Now, again, sticking to this is what professionals do. You're supposed to make deep runs and, you're supposed to stay cool under pressure. So now that it's over, I'm wondering, was there a moment and what was that moment, if so, where you kind of like still had that, hey, it'd be really cool to win this.
I mean, I have that at the start of day one.
That's awesome. I
I'm
like,
picturing every time I enter a tournament, whether it's the $8 voyage on 888 or it's the 10K World Series main event. I'm always like,
mhm.
be cool to win this. Yeah, I'd love to win this, which is ridiculous. And people will tell you not to
I
like
don't know.
get your hopes up and hope for winning tournaments because it's almost an impossible goal because it's so
Hmm.
rare. But I don't. But I've also got the mindset where I don't take it too harshly when I lose because I understand. Whilst I love winning and want to win and want to battle, I understand that in poker you're just going to get your ass kicked a
Right.
lot. You're going to lose so
More
often. If you're
times than
the
not.
best
Yeah,
in the world, you're going to spend so much time just losing.
naturally.
Uh, but because I can accept the times I'm losing pretty well,
Mm,
I think I can afford to be a bit of a daydreamer and like
I like
picture
it.
myself
I
winning the
like
thing.
that. Very, very open and something that resonates with anyone, whether you're a professional or recreational. That's a very wholesome answer. I love it. Um, Ian, this is your biggest live poker tournament win in over a decade. How much does
Is
this
it?
victory? Yes, it is, sir. It's, I think, your fourth or fifth biggest ever. Checked on the
Yeah,
Hendon Mob before we started. How much does this victory mean to you? And especially being an 888 Poker ambassador, being the first team pro to win one of their company's live events.
it's pretty special. It's so special because, like, yeah, I've not like live poker. I've had some good results like over the past decade since the biggest results.
Hmm.
I've like knocked on the door and I've had some crossbars where like
Mm.
it could have gone really good, but I ended up with ninth, or it could have gone really good, but I ended up with like 11th. Where all
Yep.
and of course all the money is in the podium. It's in the top, all the money's in the top three.
Right.
Uh, so yeah, get any tournament wins fantastic, whether it's a side event or a small event or whatever. But getting to win a main event is wonderful. Getting to win an 888 main event is
Sure.
even better. And the fact that the rail, which we've got to talk about the rail,
That
the
is
rail
actually the
being
next
there,
question. Yeah.
yeah, the rail being there until was it 4 a.m. We finished. I don't even know. It was just magic. It's just
Sure.
yeah.
So I saw the picture. I watched a little bit, after the fact. I wasn't for the awake at 4 a.m., but I was watching the 888 Poker Twitch stream, and I saw your fellow 888 Poker pros, Vivian Saliba, Lucia Navarro, Josh Manley, Nick Eastwood. They're all there cheering you on. You can hear them chanting "Sim, Sim, Sim." So, I mean, explain, be in that moment. What's it like having the very active and exuberant support of your teammates?
It's amazing. Someone asked me, did I find it distracting? Uh, and I didn't. It was a good thing because, like, in between hands, they were like they were getting rowdy and cheering my name. And it was wonderful. And like in between hands, when I was in a hand, I was able to just be focused on the hand, and they were obviously politely quiet during the hand. And in the mid, then when the hand finished and the dealer was dealing, I'd be able to catch little bits of what they're talking about, and it was kind of nice because it was just nice things being said and hopeful things about me being said, and
Hmm.
they're just so supportive. It's just the most wonderful team I've found myself in.
I feel like that's the kind of thing that, like, anyone who loves poker kind of dreams about that. Like your friends, your family, like they're all around cheering your name. Have you ever experienced a rail like that before?
Well, it was when I've had wins in the past, it was different because like it was a decade ago, so I didn't know many people in poker.
Hmm.
There were still people supporting me, but I didn't know many, like I didn't know as many people. So this was like the first time I've had like a big crowd like that.
Mm.
Uh, so it was special, yeah.
Awesome, especially at 4 a.m. They must love. That's good stuff.
Some of them had flights and didn't. They brought they didn't they go, but they went straight to the airport.
Oh my
That's when their
gosh!
flights
Wow,
were.
wow.
So
That's that's love.
they didn't go to bed.
That's
That's how much
very
support they showed. Because I like airports are hard work. I find airports incredibly hard work. I find them stressful and dull. And so yeah, they're going through all that airport rigmarole, and much longer flights than I have to get here, without any sleep. So yeah, I felt the
that's
love.
very cool. 62,000 euros. It's a nice little windfall. Do you have any plans to splurge on a little something fun, or is it all getting reinvested?
I need to talk to the wife and think about a lot of things because I've got a
That is
wife
the
and I've got a
correct
daughter.
answer. She told me to ask you. No, I'm kidding.
We're a unit, like we're both parents, We've got my
Mm,
daughter to think about, got my poker career to think about,
hmm.
got things in the house we want to do. I'm not so rock and roll. Like we went for dinner just then. I went out with Nick and his lovely girlfriend, and we walked past the Rolex shop, and they were joking, "Oh, I could just drop 20 bags on a Rolex if you wanted." I'm just like, I have so little desire for something like that. I like some nice things, but nothing like that. Jesus.
Cool.
Because
Well,
some
I
people
hope you
get,
have a productive conversation with Emma. So.
I'm a lot more sensible. Even when I was younger, I was very sensible. Like when I got a big score when I was younger, we bought a house. Like
Oh, okay.
so many people would have bought a Ferrari or
Right.
blasted it off in like 10 and 20K buy-ins or whatever. I'm pretty I'm pretty sensible when it comes to money. I know how hard it is to get a hold of the stuff. So
Sure. And the
yeah.
wins don't always come every single day. So, yeah, for
You
sure.
can like I could be on a downswing from now until well, how cruel poker can be. So
Sure.
yeah.
Well, let's be optimistic. Last question for you is sort of what's next? Does this win change your plans in any
Yeah.
way for 2025, or are you just kind of going to take things one event at a time?
Well, 2025's pretty rich in terms of the 888 schedule. So
Hmm.
the UK tour is going to a lot of very nice cities, Newcastle, Liverpool, Edinburgh. So that's a lot of my schedule, and they're not like super high rollers or anything. It's like 500s and 1Ks.
Hmm.
Um, Now I have a hunger for some more higher buy-ins. I had that before this win, like wanting to play APTs and things like that. The EPTs and the bigger buy-in events around the world, sometimes they can be tricky to get to. Sometimes they don't line up with my own personal family calendar and things like that.
Sure.
Um, but some higher buy-ins are on my radar, but only like the very best things. Like I'm not going to go to yeah, like I'm not going to be like some people play with a lot of ego and buy into
Hmm.
tournaments that are just full of regs and that yeah, I'm pretty selective about my buy-in, so I'm not going to go splurging into like just a midweek 10Ks and things like this. I'm going to be selectively playing good events,
Right.
but obviously having a nice win behind me makes the bankroll come more comfortable. I can probably shot take a little more like at the World Series this year.
Hmm.
I'll sell a little bit less action.
Ah, there you go.
Be
Right.
able
Have more percentage of yourself. Sure.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I like to have a percentage of myself anyway. I don't usually sell action unless I really think I have to, but I can
Hmm.
sell a little less now that I've got a chunk more behind me. So
Lovely, lovely. Well, Ian, congrats once again on a great victory. It's been
thank you
great
so
hearing
much.
all about your journey through the tournament, and it's really a moment to savor. And I hope we'll see you back in the winner's circle again real soon.
I mean, I hope so. Thanks for talking. It's been a
Thanks a
pleasure.
lot, Ian.